Hello party people. Today I am bringing you a couple of recipes to maybe jazz up your Easter Sunday gathering, food, table, display. You guys know what I'm trying to say. I feel like for the most part we always bring the same kind of traditional dishes to holiday gatherings. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. So I figured I would share these with you. They're easy recipes, quick, easy, but they add a little bit of something where you're like, that's different. And not only is it different, it is delicious. So I hope you enjoy them. I hope you try them out. They don't have to be for Easter. You can make these tonight for dinner or tomorrow if you need time to get the ingredients. You know what I mean? So here we go.
Okay, so this is what I like to call not your mama's potato salad recipe, but the official name for it is Caesar roasted potatoes. I like my name better. So you just need some Caesar salad dressing. The star of the show are the French fried onions. You need potatoes, the little potatoes. They crisp up a little bit better. A half a cup of cheese and a quarter cup of green onions. First thing you're going to do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Boom, done. You're going to grab all of your potatoes and cut them in half. How many potatoes do you need? One bag of baby potatoes, 24 to 28 ounces. That seems very particular. I just grabbed a whole bunch, that Costco bag, I just dumped a whole bunch out. Who knows? I don't measure. You guys know how I do. And then you're supposed to pop it in the microwave for 8 to 10 minutes. Until the potatoes come out fork tender. I always do 10 minutes. I don't check them at 8. I don't even care. And then I realized you're supposed to cover them. So I opened it back up, popped a lid on them. Who knows if it stayed on? It was like halfway on. Good enough. That's my motto. And then you're going to grab your green onions while those are cooking in the microwave. Chop those up real quick. You only need a quarter cup of this, but I love green onions. I love onions, all thing flavors. Some people in my family, my dad and one of my nephews that I know of, eat onions like an apple. So gross. Let me know down below if you do that as well. I love onions, but I don't love them that much. And these are some green onions that I grew. I just chopped some one day, and then I put the roots in a little bowl of water, and boom, they started growing. It's amazing how that happens. Nature's wonderful. Okay, so when the 10 minutes is up, I grab my potatoes, throw them on a baking sheet. I separated mine a little bit. They stuck together, and they were scalding hot. My fingers survived, though. I'm okay. And then you leave them in the oven for 15 minutes. Just let them crisp up a bit. You know what I mean? I mean, you could technically forego the microwave step and just throw them all in the oven to begin with. But for some reason, the recipe says to do this, so I follow the directions. Then you just throw them in a bowl, and then you throw all of the other ingredients into the bowl. So you need half a cup of the Caesar dressing. I don't measure. Again, I don't know if that was exactly half, but it's good enough. And then you throw the green onions in there and mix it up a little bit. And then once that is all mixed, I threw mine into like a nice dish, a serving dish, whatever you want. You could leave it in the bowl if it's just you and, your family eating, or just you eating, whatever. You could totally eat this one serving. That's like a Kim size portion right there. And then I just spread mine out. I threw the cheese on top, which I think was a lot of cheese. The recipe calls for half a cup. Not sure if I mentioned that, but I think I had close to a cup there. So I did not add it all. I mean, you could have. And then you throw some the French fried onions on there. The recipe says to throw this back in the oven for 2 to 3 minutes, but who has 2 to 3 minutes to spare when you're hungry and want to eat? Not me. And the cheese melts. The potatoes are so stinking hot anyway. All this stuff is good to go. So there it is, all ready for you. It's going to be beautiful on your Easter table or on your dinner table. Here we are with our next recipe that I like to call jazzed up Brussels sprouts, but the official name for it is creamed Brussels sprouts. And of course, what you're going to need for this is 1 pound of the Brussels sprouts. It says 4 pieces of bacon, but you know how I like to go big. The recipe also calls for half a cup of creamy Alfredo sauce. It calls for 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme, but you guys know I can't keep anything alive. So I pulled out my trusty Italian seasoning. And then it also calls for 3 ounces of shallots, but I don't enjoy shallots, so I'm using half an onion. You always work with what you have. And then the recipe also calls for 2 ounces of Gruyere cheese. I'm not huge on cheese, so I omitted that. So the first thing that you're going to do is cut up your bacon. Again, this recipe calls for 4 slices, and that's how much I used. Yes, whatever. The more the merrier. Bacon makes everything taste better. If your kids won't eat vegetables, mix it up with some bacon, and I promise you they will. Well, maybe they won't. I don't know. Don't take my word for it. All right. While that is cooking, I am cutting up the, what is that? The onion or whatever you have, shallots. I mean, I like shallots. I didn't have them and I never buy them. I'll just tell you that. They have like a garlicky flavor. Not that I don't like garlic, because I totally do. Look at my belt loop. My belt is not through one of my loops. I just noticed that. Okay, moving along. Cutting up all of the Brussels sprouts. And these were baby ones, kind of. So really, some of them I didn't cut, but whatever, you do what you want. Okay, so now you're going to drain the bacon, let that cook for a little bit, then you drain it or don't drain it. I don't care. I left all of that lovely, beautiful flavor on the bottom. We call that bacon grease. Some call it heart disease, extra flavor, whatever, all of the above. It's delicious. The recipe says not to drain it, okay? So that's not just me. And then you throw the rest of the ingredients in there, the vegetables, the onions, the Brussels sprouts. So good. Again, super simple recipe, but it's all about like adding that one ingredient. I feel like that Alfredo sauce is that one ingredient that just jazzes it all up and makes it something different. It's not just the average Brussels sprout. You know what I mean? So now that it's cooked, you cook it for like, 4 minutes until the sprouts are tender. It's not rocket science. And then once they're done, you can throw your bacon on top and then the Alfredo sauce on top. Like how I took a tiny bit off, like that's going to make it. I was like, oh, maybe that's too much. Anyway, you mix it all together and then find a serving dish, whatever you like. I like glass dishes. I don't know. You know what I really like? White dishes, but I can't find them anywhere. I'm just not fancy enough, guys. I only shop at Target and the clearance section and Salvation Army, whatever. Anyway, you throw your meal into a dish, make it look all fancy or don't. It's up to you. It's going to be in your belly. It doesn't matter. Presentation, I don't know. They say it's part of the meal, but is it really? Okay, and that's the final product. Do you love it? Does it look great? It sure tastes good. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope you guys make these meals. Don't wait for Easter. Guys, we had both of those for dinner tonight and delicious. So thank you guys for hanging out with me and watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.